If you watched my video titled "I'm quitting investing to play professional soccer," you know what I'm talking about. So this is an update of how my soccer journey is going with Indy 11 undrafted. So right now it's Sunday, a little bit after noon, and I had a very interesting past 2 days because I played 3 11 versus 11 soccer games in a matter of like 24 hours. You see, usually in the 11 undrafted program, we have one game every week. But this week it was 2 games. So it was a game on Friday and a game on Saturday. And then I also had a game with my amateur team on Friday. And so originally, the Friday game within the 11 undrafted program was scheduled at 2 p.m. And then my amateur game was scheduled at 7 p.m., like 2.5 hours away, because Indy 11 is in Indianapolis. My amateur game is in Michigan, and that game in Michigan was an away game for us, which means that not a lot of players from my team can make it. So everybody that can make it, like, needs to make it because we don't have barely any subs. But then the Friday game in Indianapolis was moved. It was moved from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And that created a lot of problem for me because, like, if the game is from 4 and let's say it finishes at 5:30, well, that's hour and a half to make it to my next game. Like there's no way I can make it, and I need to make it, right? So the way the games with Indy 11 is we have two halves. So 35-minute half, not 45, 35-minute half and 35-minute half. And because we have like over 20 people on each team, each player doesn't play full 35 and full 35. It's like you play half of the 35, then another group plays the other half, and then again you play a half of the second half, and then another group plays a half of the second half. So I was like, I'm going to request from the coach to play me in, I don't care where you play me in the first half, if you play me in the first half or second half, but the second half, please play me the first 15 minutes so that I can go straight to my car, get in the car, drive to Michigan, and then I will be late a little bit to my other game. So that's exactly what happened. The coach agreed, so I played in Indianapolis the first half of the first half, and then I played the first half of the second half, and then I just jumped in the car and I went straight on the highway and headed towards Michigan. And so the drive was supposed to be about 2 hours and 30 minutes, but I drove a little faster. So I got there 20 minutes late, and my team was already down 4-1 by the time I got there. So that was a bummer. I think we ended up like losing 9-2. And I was a complete wreck after the game. I was so tired and dehydrated. I got home at like midnight and just I didn't even brush my teeth. I just went straight to bed just to wake up and and played a game on Saturday back in Indianapolis with Indy 11 undrafted. I don't know how I made it, but I made it. And the funny part is that, like, so this was the fourth game. This was the third and fourth game out of 10 for Indy 11 undrafted. And the third game, which was on Friday, that I had to leave early. So two things that were funny about this. One was that I obviously didn't know what the score was because I left early. But then the next day I found out that my team lost 7-0. And I'm like, hold on a second. I don't remember the score to be this bad when I left, right? So literally, the moment I left to drive, apparently my team lost like 4 goals, and I was just laughing because I'm like, see you guys, I leave you in spirit, and you lose the freaking game like this. So I guess my presence is important. And another funny part about that Friday game was that so every game we get ranked into like first 25, second 25, third 25, and fourth 25. So my ranking is improving a little bit every game. I'm still in the bottom 25. Not all the way at the bottom, but I am in the lower 25. But my ranking is getting a little bit better every time. So hey, it would be crazy. It would be hugely successful if I could, like, by the end of the program, be in a 25% other than the bottom 25. That would be like a huge success. But the funny part was that on Friday, when I played the game at Indy 11, I played forward the entire time. The first half, do you want to know how many times I touched the ball? Twice. So the first time I touched the ball was when there was a kickoff, right? That, two people in the circle, and I was in the circle, and I told the guy, pass me the ball, because I want to get the first touch. So he passed me the ball, and I passed it to a defender. That was my first touch. The second touch was, there was a loose ball, and I, hit it and like passed it to the wrong person. So I lost the ball, right? So that was my 2 first touches for the entire half. But I was running and touched the ball 2 times. Then the second half, right before I left for the drive, I was like running, and I didn't even get the ball 1 time. And then we had a corner. And I wanted to take that corner because I'm like, hey, if I take that corner, I'll at least touch the ball once. So then I am like approaching the guy that wants to take the corner, and I'm like, hey, I want to take the corner. And he didn't hear me. So he passed me the ball, and I was surprised to get it because I wanted to get a corner. So then I just passed it back to him, and that was the only touch I had. So I was like laughing about the whole thing. I'm like, man, I probably ran like 5 miles and I touched the ball 3 times. And then I was like, I wonder how they're going to rank me on this. Because out of the 3 touches, 2 of them were perfect passes. Perfect accuracy. So 66% passing accuracy. I was like, how can they rank me based on these 3 touches? And I don't know, somehow they ranked it. And I was just, I had a slightly little higher ranking. And I'm just like, I was laughing because I'm like, what were you ranking? You must have counted the number of steps that I took because there was nothing else you could have ranked me on. Well, maybe the movement of the ball or something like that. And then I said it to my girlfriend. I'm like, I just touched the ball 3 times. I don't know how they ranked me. I mean, it's just laughable to me. And so she's like, I'm glad you're taking it so positively. I'm like, well, I did what I did. So then, after we had our game, with the amateur team, I felt like I played pretty good there. And so with my amateur team, I play different positions. Like sometimes I will play in the midfield, sometimes I'll play forward, and it's such a big contrast because like I have the time. I have the time, especially that game, to accept the ball, turn, pass it. So after the amateur game, I was like, you know what? I want to challenge myself. I want to challenge myself on Saturday with the Indy 11 undrafted. I'm gonna ask the coach if I could possibly play cam, you know, center attacking midfield, be in the middle, because that's what I played, you know, with the amateurs. Because I'll get the ball more, you know, I'll practice on my turning and distributing. So I asked him, and he's like, okay, I'll put you in that position. But first, like we were down, like we were missing a position, so we had too many people in the midfield. And then he asked me, well, can you play a right back instead? So I played the right back, and it was great. It was great because I was able to like touch the ball like more than 3 times for sure. You know, touch the ball, distribute it here, you know, play some defense. So I was pretty, you know, happy considering what happened on Friday versus, you know, Saturday. So I played the right back like the entire first half, or that, you know, that 15 minutes that each of us gets. And then the second half, he's like, well, I'm going to put you into that cam position, you know, position 10, because you asked for it. So I get into that position, and it's just like, again, Mumbai intersection. Everything is just going around, and like feeling that contrast between, let's say, playing that same position, you know, on Friday on the amateur league versus these guys. Like I felt like I had no time. I had, like, the moment I get the ball, boom, I'm getting pressed. So little time to turn, like just completely shocking to my body, you know, where the other game I'm like, I can, you know, get the ball, turn, pass it. Here, get the ball, turn. It's like, boom, they're already on me. So it's, you know, different levels of, it's just so eye-opening that, like, how the game is just faster. You have to think faster. You have to make the decisions quicker, have a better touch. Like, you can do the same things, but like you have to be so much quicker. And that's what I'm struggling with the most at that level, is to be able to adjust to that kind of speed. And I'm sure that speed is even higher. Well, I'm sure it is even higher, you know, at the next level, you know, the Real Madrid, Barcelona. I mean, these guys, it just must be insanely fast. On TV, it looks slow, but it must be insanely fast. So yeah. And then so after starting to play that cam position, then I switched with the guy. He wanted to play the cam, and he's like, can you play forward? So I went back to, you know, my position that I am more comfortable with, forward, which you get the ball less because it doesn't get to the forward as much. But I am more comfortable playing forward. You see, for me, I can really only play 2 positions. Like, I either play forward or I play defense. Like, it's really, like, at a fast pace, it's really hard for me to play like the middle, because the middle is just, they don't ever get a break. It's just like running and running and running and running. And my strength ever since I was a kid was speed, was sprinting, and my Achilles heel was stamina. Like I could die during, you know, 1 mile race or 1 kilometer race. It was so hard. Like, I don't know, maybe the structure of my muscles. I am more explosive, short term, and when I play defense, I can handle this more, because on defense, you run and then you get a little bit of a break. You run and you get a little bit of a break. The same thing with forward. You run and you get a little bit of a break. But when you're like in the middle, it's like you never get a break. So it's really tough. So I always try to say to my coaches, like, look, I either play forward or I play defense. Like, I mean, Cam, the center attacking midfield is a little different, but like especially the wings, like that's hard. That's really hard for me, stamina-wise, to play there. For that reason. So, anyway, that's how it's going. I'm thinking that maybe next time I'll take the camera and maybe do some footage from the actual practice or from the actual game, so you can see. But that's the update. So it was a crazy 2 days. Yesterday I was a wreck when I went to bed, but then I woke up, I was fine, played another game, and today I'm just resting.